just when I thought I couldn't be surprised anymore. Imagine you report a colleague at work for harassment. You expect the company to deal with it, right? Quickly, fairly professionally. But instead, the process drags on for months. New allegations come out of nowhere. And in the end, the whole case collapsed. But not because the behaviour wasn't serious, but because the process was flawed. And what happened at the end? The person who you accused gets paid.
Oh, excuse me?
That's exactly what happened in a recent case with Barclays Bank. So a financial advisor called Omar Nayfair was accused of making shocking remarks to colleagues. Things like, these two are great. If I show you my willy, will that make us friends? And this one, oh, this is classic. I miss the days when we could hit women.
No, 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 hell no.
So Barclays, rightly so, dismissed him of gross misconduct in July 2024. On the surface, it sounds about right. We think, job done, bitch my book, go about business. But the tribunal later ruled his dismissal unfair. And no, it wasn't because his behaviour was acceptable. It clearly was not acceptable. But it was because of the way that Barclays handled the process. So his disciplinary was heard in March 2024. But he didn't get an outcome until July 2024. So there's a 4-month delay. Then there was all these new allegations that were coming out without proper notice. Witnesses weren't even be fully interviewed. And when the case went to appeal, those things weren't resolved.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
And usually appeal is a last resort to kind of resolve these things. So while the tribunal accepted that his remarks were offensive and they were reckless, they judged the dismissal unfair because the process itself wasn't fair. And despite his conduct, oh, this is a kicker, he walked away with compensation.
Oh my God! Wow!
Now, we don't know how much, and we know that it was reduced by 50% because of his own fault, and it was cut by another 50% because of the fact that even with a fair process, he likely would have been dismissed anyway. But that's not even the point. The fact that remains, he got a payout. Okay, he got paid, and this is where victims lose out. When companies handle cases like this, especially ones with serious allegation, it doesn't just protect the accused on a technicality. It damages those trusts for those who genuinely suffered harassment. Like, if you were in a position, how much faith would you have in speaking up again? Like, I surely wouldn't. And that's why I'd say if you are an employee faced on harassment, protecting yourself matters. I'd say keep detailed records of what's happened, notes, dates, times, exact words, and who was present. I would also hold any evidence like emails or any messages. And don't be afraid to get support early, whether it's through HR or whether it's through a colleague or whether it's through a union rep or an external advisor. You can always DM me or you can go to ACAS. And know your rights. You are entitled to a fair process. And if these things aren't being handled properly, you can escalate to ACAS or seek legal advice. And remember, fairness does cut both ways, okay? So if you have been accused of misconduct, and I hope you haven't done anything silly like this man, but you also have a right to a fair and timely process. But the bigger lesson is this: zero tolerance for harassment only means something if people believe the system will actually protect them, not fail them. Like, come on. So I have a question for you. If you'd been the victim in this case, would you feel confident speaking up again and seeking this outcome? Drop your comments below. Once again, I am the very shocked, resourceful human, HR with heart.